Hi guys, Amy here from Amy's Wares, and today's video is all about the Slimlines. So all the stencils that I'm showing you here today are actually from the July release at A Colorful Life Designs. This is not the entire release, but this is a good chunk of them to give you an idea, but I definitely encourage you to check out the rest because there are some seriously awesome stencils in this group. So today I'm going to be making mini slimlines and regular size slimlines, but obviously with these larger stencils and even some of the smaller ones, you can make your standard A2 size or 5x7 size cards as well. So I'm starting off by just showing you some of the different ones here. This is a 6x9 stencil, and I'm showing you how it works in contrast with a standard size slimline. And then these 3x6, you'll see I did a 6-inch square piece of paper and then scored it at 3 inches to make it 3x6 inches, and that gave it a perfect frame around the edge of the stencil. So here I'm just showing you some of the Catherine Pooler mini inks that I'm going to be using today. Pixie spray is definitely a must, especially for these delicate stencils. It's a temporary adhesive, so it helps kind of hold the stencil in place when you're ink blending. I'm starting off with the Cute Cogs 3x6. You see how it perfectly fits my 3x6 card, but because it does have rounded edges, I am just doing little pieces of low-tack tape on the corners, so I don't have to worry about avoiding those. It just kind of masks off that area so that the ink doesn't get under there. Just showing you I'm using some from the Zen collection. I actually only ended up using 2 of these colors instead of the 3. But I'm using my cottontail blending brushes from Rabbit Hole Designs, and I'm just doing some very simple, quick ink blending to get down some color underneath these awesome stencils. And that's what today is about, is honestly just batching very simple cards to kind of add to your stash and build up your collection here. Very simple ink blending. I wanted to really showcase these awesome stencils. So here's the reveal. There you go. These 2 different colors of green, got that nice gradient. Next up we have the Twirly Vines 3x6. I was just showing you that Mary Kay at A Colorful Life Designs puts the name of the stencil and the item number on the stencil itself, which is really convenient because then you know you're ink blending from the correct side. I always appreciate that feature. So again, I'm just masking off the little corners. And then I think I didn't line it up very well there, and I was too lazy to remove it. So I just masked off the little edge with some additional tape there. Some pinks and purples here for this card. I know I have this sped up a little bit, but honestly this process was so fast. So if you're someone who donates cards or maybe does them for a card drive, I would definitely recommend a system like this because it helps you to create a beautiful card in not a lot of time. So I used Pixie spray on this one for sure to help kind of stick down all those little petals and swirls. This is a little bit more on the delicate side, so that Pixie spray really helps kind of keep it in place so it doesn't shift on you. I really like how this one turned out. I think it's really pretty. But look at that beautiful, perfect border. That's what's so convenient. So if you make these 3x6 size for your mini slimline, then you'll have a built-in perfect border on these stencils. Pretty convenient, huh? Okay, this is the Paradise collection, I believe. So just pick some colors here for this one. This is the Corsage stencil. I thought this one was really neat. So with this orange, yellow, and teal, it kind of plays on the whole primary colors of red, yellow, and blue. So when these overlap, it gives you that rainbow look, even though it's not technically red, yellow, and blue. It gives you that same kind of feel. So I always like that. I love when the yellow meets the teal and gives you that pretty green color. This might be one of my favorites. Okay, on to the next. This is the Texture Zig stencil. And again, I didn't line it up very well, so just making use of that mint tape. You can use it over and over again. If it gets super saturated, obviously you'll want to switch to a new piece, but those little pieces actually held up through all my projects today. So I have this deep navy blue juniper mist. Started with that on the top and then worked into this plum color. It's called Royal Treatment. And then finished off with Peppermint Scrub. So I like this color blend. Okay, the reveal is always so satisfying, isn't it? Okay. Here I'm just showing you the easy cleanup. I just have I forgot what this is called, what type of rag this is, but I've got it in one of my Make It by Marco containers to keep it from getting too smelly. So that's another very convenient tool to have. This open chevron is just gorgeous. This is one of my favorites, but you definitely want pixie spray on this one. I don't think I did a really good job of pushing it down in the center, so I do have a little bit of a mistake on it. See if you can spot it at the end, but I ended up covering it up at the end, so it's all good. Okay, here I chose some green colors and some teal. I think I tend to gravitate towards the same sort of colors. Do you guys have certain color palettes that you go to time and time again? I know some of the people that I follow on YouTube, I can often spot their work because of the colors that they gravitate towards. I just love these Catherine Pooler inks. They're just so rich and saturated and they blend so beautifully. I'm able to ink blend these in no time flat. This teal is just so gorgeous. Okay, almost done with this one, and if you work with stencils a lot, I definitely recommend this Wendy Vecchi station tool. It really helps hold things down. So now we're getting into the 6x9s. These are obviously great for slimlines and any other size cards that you may be working with. But what's great about the 6x9s is that if you are working with a slimline, you don't need to try and readjust a smaller stencil to continue the pattern. It's all just right there for you. So I find that very convenient in working with these bigger stencils. But honestly, these 6x9s are great too if you work with gel presses or anything like that. It's a really good functional size for that purpose if that's your jam. So here I went a little bit different. I decided to use the lighter coral color first because I'm using the same red blending brush for both the darker red and the coral. And it's best to go light to dark if you're using the same blending brush because then you'll get a more accurate color. Whereas if I would have started off with the dark, it would have made the middle coral color much darker than it actually should have been. So I filled the center of the flowers with the corally red colors and then finished off with the yellow. And it just created more color blending in between the two. It was really beautiful how it turned out. So I just work my way down the panel here. These slimlines I cut cardstock at 8.5 inches by 7 inches. So they ended up 3.5 by 8.5 in size. And as you could see, it was the perfect size for these 6x9 stencils. Here I have the Fan Party stencil 6x9. And this one I could see used in a lot of different ways. It has like a shell feel to it, so I bet it would look really good with an ocean scene or a water scene or a mermaid scene. Possibilities are endless. But I went with some cool colors again for this and grabbed my corresponding blending brushes. I don't know if you can see on my blending brushes, I have those cute little color clips, and then also that purple stand that holds them all so nicely. Those are also from Make It by Marco. If you don't know about them, they are a small business. They're on Etsy, and they have tons of awesome products to help you with your crafty adventures. So I definitely recommend checking them out. So this is a nice color blend here. Teals into the blues and purples. I only ended up using a few different of my Catherine Pooler mini sets. Here is the ink stand. This is a game changer. It's from Brianna Loveland. She also has an Etsy shop. I'll also link this in the video details, but if you work with mini ink pads, or even she has them for bigger ink pads and even for Altenew now and Catherine Pooler, these are a game changer. I don't know if you're like me and have dropped an ink pad right down on your finished product or almost finished product and ruined it because you're trying to hold it and get some ink from it. This is just incredible. I'm actually going to look at her shop because I think she's in the process of creating stands for the mini Catherine Pooler ink pads as well, and I have to get one of those because the stand just stays right in place on your desk. It holds the ink pad so you don't have to. Oh, it's such a useful tool. Definitely worth every penny. So yay for Brianna Loveland and her husband for making such awesome products. But here, this is an awesome geometric one. I used some neutrals on this. I used black soot, hickory smoke, and pumice stone, I believe, were the colors that I used. Isn't that amazing? I love how that one turned out. Here we have the wood plank stencil. This one I can see me getting a lot of use out of. I could see it with little woodland critter stamps, or maybe Father's Day cards, or really anything. It's going to be such a neat tool to have in my crafty stash. So here I'm just using some distress inks. I switched to those because I don't have any of the neutrals from Catherine Pooler. So I think I'm using walnut stain, pumice stone again, and ground espresso, I believe, are the colors that I used on this. And I just kind of put the color down in different areas. You know, like wood, it wouldn't be very uniform, so kind of all over with the color. And then when I reveal it, obviously that white is way too stark in contrast. So I'm going to wipe off my workstation so I don't get any of the residual ink on the back of my card base, since I'm ink blending directly on the card base. And then I'm using the residual ink on the blending brush to kind of fill in that white space and make it less of a contrast and a little bit more natural looking. So I add some of the pumice stone. It's a nice lighter neutral color to kind of fill in that area, and then I just work my way around the card base to kind of fill that in and kind of add darker colors and spots just to give it some interest and texture. And yeah, there's not much to it. It's really quick and simple. Like I said, with batching, it's all about saving time. And when you ink blend directly on the card base, it saves paper, it saves time. Here I'm showing you, this is the notebook where I've put together all my sentiments. I have a separate one now that you may have seen in a prior video where I show you all my critters that are stamped and colored and cut out, and I have them in those same pockets, but I was kind of outgrowing it, so I created a whole new one for my sentiments. And these, I'm just showing you these perfect sentiments from Pink Fresh. They are a single stamp and a single die cut, so super convenient. Also goes well with my batching mentality, helps you kind of get these all stamped and ready to go, and you can batch them and store them however you like. Here you can see I used the die to cut out another grouping of these letters because I didn't have the happy birthday one. But I just apply the glue right to the adhesive backed foam tape and then glue the sentiment right on it. With some liquid glue, I just kind of push it down, give it a second, or put that weight on it with the acrylic block, and then look at, they pop right out. Isn't that satisfying? And then they have the adhesive right on the back ready to go. It's basically like a sticker that you just made. So just showing you a group of these that I've made with the stark black and white. Nice contrast, goes with pretty much any card that you make, but obviously, as you saw in my folder, I've stamped them in every color under the rainbow, and I also have heat embossed them, which is another nice refined look. So you can see it's perfect dimension. It's no messing with little silly foam tape cut into little bits. I don't have time for that, so I just cut out the foam sheets and we're good to go. So now I'm just figuring out which ones look best with which card. And then really it's just a matter of kind of peeling off that backer on the adhesive and then adding them directly to the card base. And there's not really any bulk to these because we did the ink blending directly on the card panel. So the only dimension is actually from the sentiment itself, and because the foam backing is the exact same size as the die cut, it'll hold up a lot better in the mail. It shouldn't get crumpled because it's got nice even dimension all the way behind it. So wouldn't this set make a nice gift? Maybe a little hospitality gift or a teacher gift or something like that. I would love to get a set of cards like this. I just think it would be a really nice thing to do. Or just to, you know, build up your crafty stash. But as you know, I'm all about the batching, so I like to make a lot of cards at once. And I'm still just working my way through here. I really love that thank you one. Wanted to put it right in the center, kind of like the focal point of the design. I didn't want to take up your time adding the sentiments to the larger slimline, so you get the idea on how I do it. But now I'm showing you all the finished cards, starting with the mini slimlines that are 3x6. Nice little collection. I try to use different sentiments from that stamp on every card to give you an idea of what's available. And be sure to check out the rest of the full release for Colorful Life Designs. There's a lot more great stencils even than the ones that I have. So don't want to miss that. And I do have a coupon code, which you will find in the video details as well. So save yourself 10% on the complete order if you shop. But if you're like me, you're going to find loads of different stencils that you must have because the collection is amazing. So I hope you enjoyed my cards today and my quick batching process with Slimlines. Again, you can use these for all different sizes of cards, but I hope you enjoyed the process. If you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe. You can hit the bell and be reminded every time I post a new video. Otherwise, thanks for checking out my video. Have a great day. Thanks.